This is actually a silver medal. All right, so I want to know the feeling when you're in the Olympics. All right, put this on me. Let me see. United States of America, right? You hear that? Mm-hmm. You just put it on, and then when you get that, man, I feel like it's like, you know, Mr. T, you know, all that chain. It's heavy.
Well, why don't you put on both?
Oh, both. Oh my God. So tell me about this one.
Two chains. That one's Beijing, 2008. That was the first time we had medaled in a really, really long time. I can't even tell you the last time. I should know our history, though.
Hello, buddy, and welcome to Where Are They Now in Sports, live from the Shave in Beverly Hills. Today's guest is a former professional volleyball player that played in the Olympics 04, 08, and 2012. She's from Hawaii. She went to the University of Minnesota, and her name is Lindsey Berg in the house. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh man, you hear that actually?
Yeah, you can just keep them on the whole time.
Oh wow, okay, all right. Let me prepare my questions.
Yeah,
Let me just get the feeling. Look at these medals on me. All right, Lindsey, you know, when you grew up in Hawaii, there was a lot of colleges you had an option to go to.
Yeah.
And you know, when you played high school, you know, you had schools, colleges like USC that was really good, UCLA, Stanford. What made you pick Minnesota? I mean, you're coming from 80-degree weather all year round to like snow and cold. Talk to me about that.
It's still a question that I don't have a real specific answer for. There's a bunch of reasons. It was a real difficult recruiting process for me being all the way in Hawaii and really wanted to see the schools before I committed to a school. And I just didn't have the time. I didn't want to leave my high school team. I was so committed to them. It was so far to go on a trip, at least 5 hours to California, further more. And so schools kept giving me an ultimatum, like, if you don't commit today, we're going to go with our second choice, or so on and so forth. And slowly but surely, like, I was just like, I haven't even seen your school. I don't know what you're about. And they kept crossing off all the West Coast schools that I wanted to go to. And my dad actually grew up playing volleyball, played at Santa Barbara, and played with Mike Hebert, who ended up being my coach at Minnesota. And my dad was like, Lindsey, just please, can you take a trip to Minnesota? He's one of the best coaches. He came from Illinois. They went to the Final Four. I was like, Dad, where's Minnesota?
I was
like, really, though? I mean, you know, obviously I was joking a little bit, but where is Minnesota? And of course I trust my dad. He's been my role model, my mentor. And I took a trip there, obviously, in the end of the summer towards the fall, so it wasn't that cold. And I loved it. I loved the coach. I loved the fact that the Big Ten supported volleyball so much and supported their sports in general. The people in Minnesota were incredible. I was going straight into business school, Carson School of Management, which was incredible. And everything just made sense. Along with that, I was so sick of the whole recruiting process. I really wanted to be in a program that I was going to help build rather than go and sit the bench for 2 years and then maybe win a national championship, or, you know.
Sitting the bench?
Yeah, well, it was possible, you know, if I just went to Stanford and people above me, you never know. But I really wanted to be a part of a program.
I heard that President Obama went to that high school.
Yes, he
did.
From
kindergarten to...
He did. It is a school that goes kindergarten all the way to 12th grade.
And I mean, you had a lot of legends that went there. I mean, I'm looking at the Wikipedia, I'm like, wow.
It's a huge school for athletics, and definitely a college prep school. And they definitely prepared me for school. And now I go back, and it's incredible. Ever since Obama was named president, so many donors have donated, and it looks like a college campus now.
How do you become a professional women's volleyball player? I mean, how does the process work? You graduate from Minnesota, then what?
Yeah, it's really interesting, actually. Most junior players, even in high school and in college, if you're supposedly one of the best, you're already put into the USA program. I actually tried out when I was young in the 14s. I was supposed to be one of the best setters. I was very short, maybe like 4'11", 4'10", and the USA program kept actually like pushing me out, and I never made it in the younger year program or the juniors or even in the college level, because I went to Minnesota. We weren't top ranked while I was there. I wasn't an All-American, so it was really tough for me to get into the system. But that's how normal real talented girls, when they're younger, start in the USA system. And then after college, you're invited to go try out, or you're just invited to join the team.
So there's no open tryout, you have to get invited.
There is an open tryout that goes on during the Final Four. Okay. But in an open tryout, I'd say 3 to 4 girls are chosen from that open tryout. because normally the girls are already selected beforehand.
Oh, okay.
So my route was different. I finished college, and there was one year that they had a professional league in the States called the USPV. Just so happened to be after my last season. I graduated early, and there was a team in Minnesota, Rochester, Minnesota. So they thought, well, this is cool. She went to Minnesota. She's done with school. Let's draft her.
Right.
And I played in that league, and we won the Minnesota Chill, along with Nicole Branna, who plays, she plays beach volleyball. She was on my team, and Wiz Bachman McCutcheon now, who is Hugh McCutcheon, who is my coach in London, and she also played volleyball. Anyway, she was on our old Minnesota Chill team. And we won, and our assistant coach was the assistant coach of the national team.
Wow, yes.
And he told the head coach, you have to let Lindsay try out. Just give her a tryout.
So when you got to the tryout, okay?
Yeah.
How many girls are there? And now, how tall were you at the time?
Okay, well, I've reached my height, as I am almost 5'8".
All right.
But the greatest part about this whole story is that I paid to go try out.
You paid?
So they said, okay, we're gonna give you a 2-week tryout. You have to pay your way. If you make it past the 2 weeks, we'll reimburse you for the trip. I was like, I'm already shaking my head about my whole young, junior situation with USA Volleyball. I didn't have the greatest perception of them or the whole program, but I let it go. It was something I wanted to do. I knew I could be successful, beat out these girls, and I've always had a chip on my shoulder, and so I was like, of course I'm going. My dad and I drive out there, takes me there, and there were, let's see, how many girls? That was during a transition period, a January to March, where a lot of girls that were already on the team were overseas playing professionally, and so we were like a training group. I think there's about 20 to 24 of us.
24.
Yeah, training at that time.
Right. Now, how many setters were there for that 2-week trial?
4 or 5. Well, I think I was the only one on the 2-weeker.
Oh, okay.
The rest were like guaranteed to be there till March, April.
And how long was the training a day, like the trying out?
Toshi Yoshida was our coach, and we were in the gym 8 to 9 hours a day. He's Japanese, and the Asian culture definitely has a way of training their volleyball players, and that's to be in the gym all day.
This is when you made the team?
Oh, this is my first weeks there.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah.
And then, where were you when you found out Lindsey Berg, you're on the USA Olympic team roster?
So, unfortunately, we find out about at most a month before the Olympics. So everyone's competing until then. Slowly throughout that year and a half, I had to beat out setter by setter by setter. And I probably beat out at least 6 girls to become the backup for Robin Amos Santos, who is actually a Hawaiian as well. And I have looked up to my whole life. So we were the 2 that made it to Athens. And when I found out, it was funny, they brought you in. I was confident that I was there, that I was made it. By then, you could kind of figure it out.
What is the feeling like? You get on the plane the night before, or whatever the days before opening ceremony to the Olympics. I mean, are you like fired up? Are you like, man, I'm representing my country? There are 500,000 girls that play volleyball, that dream.
Yeah, it's really, you can't even believe it's happening, pretty much. And we prepare 4 years for those 2 weeks. Not a lot of people know that every summer we're together playing in certain tournaments to qualify. They just actually won World Championships 2 weeks ago, which is amazing. We're back to #1 in the world. So not a lot of people know that goes on every summer before the Olympics, but it does. We're together for 4 years, 4 summers. And so we've been preparing so long for that 2 weeks that we're almost like relieved that it's finally there, because it's what we've been preparing for the whole time. But once you step in that stadium for the opening ceremonies, I can't even explain the feeling.
You're holding that flag,
you
right?
immediately cry, tear up. No matter how emotional of a person you are, you cannot not do it. It's 100 to 150,000 people from all over the world, and everyone is cheering on everyone. It doesn't matter what country you're from.
What's the schedule like before the Olympics, when you're on the roster, okay? You have the training session going, okay? Tell me the schedule. You wake up what time to train?
While we're at the Olympics? We're at the Olympics?
No, before the Olympics.
Beforehand, okay. So before the last quad, we were in Anaheim training, and which was nicer than Colorado Springs. In Colorado Springs, we all lived together in a dormitory type place, unless you wanted to buy a place in Colorado Springs, which didn't happen. Right. So that didn't feel like real life to us. Once we moved here to Anaheim in 2009, people could stay where they wanted to stay, come to practice, do our work, could get it done, and go and have a regular life, which was amazing, and I think definitely helped us. So we would be at the gym. If you're injured and need to warm up by 7:30, practice starts around 8:30. We'd go till 12:30 or 1, and then on some days do a lifting session or a conditioning session after. And that was the quad during London. I hear now they're going a little longer with their new coach. But I was home. I live downtown in LA. I was home by 2 or 3 every day. So 4 to 5 hours in the gym per day.
You being a setter.
Yeah.
I believe, I was watching your videos, I believe that being a setter, to me, this is what I feel, is that you have to have great instincts to be a great setter. Because what's that thing called, like, besides setting up, you see an opening and you just tap it. What do you call that?
Dump or dink.
Yeah, dump, dink, whatever. Like, how do you know when to do that?
You have to, it's seen out of your eye where the blockers are and what's going on the other side of the net. But actually in the international game, it happens a lot in college, but once you get to the international game, everyone is so fast and so good that it's not, people don't do it as much. It's not a successful play unless you're 6'2" or a real tall setter, and it's almost like an attack. But for me, I rarely did it once I got to the international level. But definitely a setter, I always consider it like the quarterback of a team compared to football. You call the plays, you run the plays, you're in charge of where everybody is. It's your fault, whether it's your fault or not your fault. And it's definitely, you have to take a step back in your pride of always accepting the responsibility of the team. And being a leader is huge for my position. Being able to communicate and get along with all of your teammates is huge. And it's incredible what it's taught me in life in general, just the position that I had to be on the court.
Now, Lindsay, if a girl comes up to you, a 14, 15-year-old girl in high school, says, Lindsay, I'm a big fan of yours. What does it take to become successful like you? What advice would you tell her?
Well, first of all, I pride myself on just really having a lot of heart. Everyone, maybe it's cliche, but it's really gotten me far. I've always been shorter. People have always called me not the typical volleyball body type, whether I'm fat, whether I'm slow, whether I can't jump high. But I always just like, yeah, it hurt, but I always let that go because I always knew I had the biggest heart. No matter what, I was giving my all. No matter what, I was making people around me better. And I was the first and last in the gym most of the time until I got older and started feeling the aches and pains. Also a lot of support, a support system. My family has been incredible. They've followed me and they've been my biggest fans, and I've been so lucky to have that. And then I've had incredible friends that just think the world of me, that have supported me when I couldn't be the best friend and never be there, and they have been there.
What do you suggest when you're in high school? How many hours, how many times should you hit the ball? I mean, what is it, like 500?
It's definitely, I don't think you can give a number to it, and it's definitely changed since I grew up. We didn't practice as much when I grew up in the younger years. Now they have these club volleyball that it's their life really, and some of the girls aren't playing other sports, which I disagree on. I grew up playing basketball, tennis, volleyball, I danced, and I felt that that helped me to, at the end, know, okay, this is what I want to do. But it also helped me in coordination and all types of different things. What I see now with parents is they're really forcing their kids to be so committed to this one thing that you got to get the scholarship. Clubs are like, we'll promise you a scholarship. And I'm not trying to go against the volleyball community, but I really think that having an overall sense about your body and overall view of other sports, it really helped me and younger girls in my generation get to a higher level of just being all around in general. So it's hard to say now, but it takes a lot of reps. The more you touch the ball, the better you're going to be in general.
Now, 2012, you girls get on the plane, you're going to London. You guys are ranked #1 in the world.
Yeah.
Your mission, you want that gold. That's all you were thinking about.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the Brazilian team. In the pool play, you actually beat them, right?
Yeah, we dominated during all of pool play, during the quarterfinals, semifinals. It was almost like it was bad that we dominated because we weren't challenged to when that hard point came in that game to know how to get out of it. And I think that was our problem. And then we also dominated the first set in the gold medal match, that I think it was the worst set Brazil has ever lost in their life, like 25-11 or something. And that didn't help at all, because if the Brazilians get mad, it's not a good thing. So I was thinking, I remember going around the court after that first set, telling my girls, like, you guys, like, don't sit back. It's not over. We do not have the gold yet. And Brazil is so experienced, and they've won gold medals, and they've played together for longer actually than our team had played together, and they really knew how to stick together and fight and go through these hard times, and we didn't do it better than they did at that match. Would we have beat them the next day? Truly believe it. I truly still believe we were the best in the world at that time. Kind of like the Super Bowl the year before that. Any given day in sports, one team can be at their top and one can be at their bottom or average. And I think that's what happened. But definitely a learning lesson. I think it's helped the girls that are there right now get the gold in World Championships and learn from experiences like that, and know that there can be certain situations in your team that if you don't address those situations, that it can show up in the most important times. And I think that's what happened.
So when you're on the podium, and I got the kind of feeling when you put the silver on the, but deep down, when you're on the podium and you see Brazil getting that gold, in your head, are you thinking, there's no way they deserve this? There's no way. We had this. We were number one, right? I mean, all you girls were thinking like that. Come on, I would.
For sure, we were definitely thinking like that. We also weren't loving watching them celebrate. That's always hard. We were heartbroken, also surprised at the same time. Also, then had to take a step back and be proud of ourselves of the journey that we did. Silver is not too shabby. But yeah, so many emotions are going through your head. It was real hard. It was real hard. I knew that it could have possibly been my last one. I knew it was like right there, and we didn't take it. And I still think about it all the time, but as I look at it now, I hope and I feel that there are bigger and better things out there for me, and that was part of my life, and maybe that was not the golden moment of my life, and it's still out there.
When you're in London, is there any time off? Do you guys like I know you play every other day.
Yeah.
What do you guys do during the time off?
So we are every other day, and on our every other day that we don't play, we are practicing, but our coach did give us, we'd have hours where we could see our family. At the Olympics, they have a lot of sponsored places, Bank of America room, different places that you can go and meet your family. We didn't do a lot of sightseeing at all, but in those 2 hours, 3 hour spots, we would go see our family and just relax, went shopping a little bit, maybe one time. It's good to clear your mind.
What are you doing now? Since no more volleyball as far as a player, right?
Yeah.
Those days are over?
Yeah, I finally really said I was retiring. Well, from the national team, about when the summer started, I knew I was done. And then recently I said maybe I'd take offers of contracts overseas. Nothing has really come up that has wanted me to leave what I've started to develop here, which is a life that I'm really loving. I am part owner in a gym with Jay Glazer and Brian Urlacher in Hollywood called Unbreakable Performance.
And who are those two people, please?
Well, Jay Glazer is, background in MMA, and now is on Fox Sports doing Sunday Football, has done many other things, is an incredible personality, is an incredible person with passion and heart as well. Brian Urlacher, obviously an incredible football player that is now finished and moving on in his life as well. We all worked out at the same place a couple years ago, and that's how I got to know them. And when I knew Jay was doing this, I approached him and asked him if he'd like to have a woman on board, and I'd love to be on board. And that's history now. And so we've been open for a good 2 months now, have a ton of vet football players. We'll have a combine group coming in, training a bunch of actors. But it's not only that, we want anyone that's just worried about their health or wants to be a healthy person, wants to come in and have a good time in a good atmosphere that feels like a family. It's just great. You walk in and you feel good. You're ready to work, ready to laugh, all of the above.
Where can you find this gym? Is it on a website?
Yes, unbreakableperformance.com. We're there, and we are above Pink Taco on Sunset. Okay. Not hard to miss. It's a pink building, but hard to miss our gym because you have to go up the hill, and it's a little secret, but it's definitely private, small groups, classes, and it really just feels good to be in there, and I love that I'm part of it.
What else? You got fashion going on?
Yeah, I love fashion. I hope
Right.
to do a capsule collection one day, just small, intimate of my ideas. My volleyball brand is Cuore, which means heart in Italian. I played in Italy 7 years. That changed my life. And obviously heart means a lot to me, so I thought of something that I could bring back. I consult, I do privates, I do some camps. What else? I'm starting an organization company with a good friend of mine that is going to benefit nonprofits just to prop up the community, society, and world. That's launching December 7th called Kickstand. I can't tell you much more about it. That's the most I've said, actually.
Here's the thing. I'm giving you a chance.
We have a save the date, so it's December 7th at the Mondrian. It's going to be benefiting Athletes versus Cancer, which is Matt Barnes Foundation.
Wow, okay.
That's who we're jumping off with to benefit for our first kickstand launch, as you'd say. I'm really excited about that and where that can go. I'm a new brand ambassador for Alchemy Water, which is a great alkaline water.
You're just opening up right now. Go ahead, tell me more.
It's all actually just happened all together in a month, where I've been waiting about a year, and it's been a slow process. I've been struggling with the transition, and it's all kind of, I've been patient, and really a lot has happened in the month, and that's why I can say a lot. If you would have got me like 2 months ago,
okay.
I might have been, well, I'm living, just having a good time.
Right.
But I'm happy where it's going. I'm excited and hope to build and touch lives and have a good time while doing it.
It's an honor to have you here.
Thank
seriously.
you.
I mean, these silver medals, I might have to go to a chiropractor right now. You know,
right, the London one's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I can't even, like, Michael Phelps had like 9 on. I
Oh
don't
my
even
God, yeah.
know how he did it for interviews.
Well, did you see him in the Olympics? Were you hanging out
Yeah, we
with him?
see everybody. I've met him once. I can't say we're buds or hang out,
But you know of him.
yeah, know of him. We meet a lot of people in crossing. I've developed some great friends, some track and field friends that are now my best friends. Obviously, my volleyball girls, the basketball teams, both of them were always great to us. We saw them a lot because we practiced in the same gyms. So I made a lot of relationships, and it's an experience that you can't even imagine.
That's Lindsey Berg in the house. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you
it's
for
an
having
honor.
me. Please don't forget to subscribe to my boy Eddie Mata's channel, YouTube, right?
Yes, you know.
Yes, YouTube.
Where are they now in sports? Thank you.